I grew up right in the middle of town, so it was always just convenient. I didn't know too much about it. I didn't think people like hauled their own water for what they needed, but obviously now you get into it, you're like, well, this is a part of life.
Most of my life was hauling water, so for me, it was always something ingrained in us as little kids, not to waste water, not to use too much, not to let the water run.
There's not public water everywhere you go, and that sometimes there's different situations for different folks, especially in Southwest Colorado.
Most people in Aspen Springs that I know of haul water just like us. We could have looked at places in town and it probably would have cost a little bit more as far as monthly payments, rent, and everything. But we have, more land than we would have probably had in town. And that's been great for our family. The biggest concern was that it was a fixer-upper house, but also at first we didn't have a truck to haul water. So we had to, that was one thing we definitely had to change.
So the water process is opening the cistern. I'm checking to see if we're low or not. I'll throw the tank in the back, and I go to town every single day anyway, so on the way back, I'll just get a load of water and throw it in there, and 3, 4, 5 loads will fill it right up. And then the cistern is hooked up to obviously all the plumbing. And
we are pretty fortunate for how close we are to the water filling stations. Generally, I would say 20 minutes each load, somewhere between 6 to 8 times a month in order just to keep the cistern full enough for us to not have to worry about running out.
Hauling water does make you think about water usage, though, for sure. And kind of be smart about what you have. And it's, give and take for, what you get. And
yeah, you trade pros and cons for sure. I would say being the person who is in the house, using the majority of the water in the house, I don't know if I'd prefer it. I think it's something that for me, especially with kids, can be difficult because you are doing extra loads of laundry, running the dishwasher. I'm bathing the kids most days. It's just something that, again, just kind of sits in the back of your mind, no matter what you're doing. Even if I know there's plenty of water in the tank and he just went and did a few loads, just don't want to have to also put even more burden on him of like, hey, we're running low again. Can you get more water? So we have a low water bill. I would say average $20 to $25 a month. I know that people in town often are spending quite a bit more than that.
Once you start adding in gas and the time it takes to go and get the water, come back and everything. So obviously it's a little bit more than that when you start adding everything together, but cheaper than I think living in town.
It definitely has been a dry summer for us in Pagosa. I would love to have, a lot of more green grass and be able to water it and even let my kids play in the sprinkler outside, but that's just something that really for us right now isn't feasible. It's not really a smart option in terms of conserving water. Even our river is starting to get really low. Kinley knows not to waste water. She knows that we don't leave water running unnecessarily, and she's been pretty smart about learning and taking that knowledge in. She would probably love to take 2 baths a day if we let her. We don't do that. If my kids were to have to continue hauling water in the future, that doesn't concern me. But again, I think it would just be a mindset for them, would just be something that will stick with them for the rest of their life, just like it has with me.